bitches.
I damn near pooped myself. Oh my god. Double damn near pooped myself. Guys, what the hell? God damn. I don't have the heart for this, you know. Whew. How's everybody doing? I forgot to open my game. Just a moment. Would it be a Tato stream if it wasn't scuffed as all hell? Hello, Joggin, Cupcake, Banana, Hasana, Banana. GG's. It's this one. What? Yeah. Hello. You're human? Yeah, I think, I mean, I felt better the next day, but I've been having some other issues that make me not feel too good. So I'm kind of just hanging in there. How is everybody? I have no concept of time this week. So I didn't know what day it was until I just looked at my phone now. Happy Tuesday, everybody! 1990 V-Tato. V-Tato's older than me? Wow! Hassan, how dare you? Your own mother. You're first? Okay. Joggin, do you remember that other... God damn, this music's right in my ear holes. There is a head pad. If someone should redeem the head pads, just saying. It's a different head pad. Mao told you to do it? Okay, I believe that. Also, we used to have a... Hey! What the fuck, man? Wow, what is my ping? Wow! Why is it so high? I know you guys can't see it, but it's like 180. It was over 200 just now. What the... Holy shit. Okay, this is fine. What do you guys think, by the way? Hello. Am I cute as hell? Because I feel cute as hell. And my fluffy ears as well. I'm doing good, Hassan. How are you? My little tuber. That's why she's called V-Tato. Joggin's gonna bully me for making this joke again. I haven't made it in a long time. But a Tato is a tuber, yeah. That's why she's called V-Tato, because she's a V-tuber. And it's the lamest joke, but it makes my soul shine when I make lame jokes like that. So but a friend of mine linked me this this program. It's still like in alpha, they're still testing it, but I was playing around with it and I had a lot of fun, so yeah. Ear canal? Oh no, it's definite. Canal is like the proper word, but I say ear holes because I'm not educated in the way of medicine, so it's okay, right? No, Hassan. I'm an English teacher, not a... Why is my resin 120? Did I do something today? What? Did I open the game? No, wait, I just made the resin now. Okay. I was so confused. I was like, pretty sure I didn't log in today because we had shitty load shedding, like right after dinner. And I didn't think to make resin during the day. You're suffering with medical English? Okay, yeah, no, it's ear canal. That's the tunnel that you can access from the outside of your ear. I don't know if it includes any inside parts as well, but yeah, the canal is that, as far as I know, that part that you can access externally. But it's been a very long time since I studied biology, so, you know, take it with a pinch of salt. I just say ear holes because it's a dumb word, I guess. You have 2 British doctors and 1 is American. Well, you don't have 2 British doctors then. Maybe 2 English ones. 2 English doctors. Also, do you guys like my blankie? I have, or do you mean you have 2 British doctors and an American one? Aruna! Hello, hello! How are you doing? I bought a bunch of blankies. I got some free ones and I got some... It cost like $1, so... I got lots of blankies. I got one with the pumpkin and with the skull and the ghosties and baddies. Surviving. Oh, that's a fucking mood. That is the moodiest mood that was ever mooded. Oh, two British and 1 American? Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that, Hassan. Also medical jargon. Yeah, jargon would be able to help you with your homework. Gotta learn that medical jargon. Thank you, Aruna. I can send you. I don't know. You might want to play around with it because you're an artist. So maybe it would be fun for you to play with. But what? Eh? I didn't touch it. Uh-oh. Wasn't me. I will if you boop me on like Twitter or something, I can send you the post. It was a Twitter post that I got this software from. It's really cute and fun to play around with. They speak Arabic really well? Better than you? Wait, how? I wanna... So I have other things as well. Maybe I can show you guys quick. Alright, so... I don't know... What? Where? Not that. I got... this. I put it on skew now because I tilted my head while I was doing that, but it's okay. But yeah, so I just hid everything because I was lazy to redo things. I don't know why this one is like always tilted when I put it on. But I got some cool gamer shade. Ow! Hassan, what the fuck, man? That wasn't even Mao this time. But yeah, Aruna, if you just boop me on Twitter, I can just send you the linky dinks. It's quite silly, it's fun to play with. And if you have literally any kind of asset, you could probably even make your own assets, you know, being an artist. Yeah, you can just put anything in. And yeah. It's very cute. I got jagged on my head now. I was thinking of adding that as a redeem. If you guys want to sit in the blankie or sit on my head or sit somewhere near if you want to float next to me, whatever the case may be. Sit on my tail. I don't know if you can do that, but yeah. The sunnies that protect our Genshin wishes. Exactly. Your hand slipped, her son. Wah! Your hand's so slippery. Put your hands in your pockets. Yeah? Shall we leave the silly glasses on to protect us? I'll wear my IRL ones because I have the same ones IRL. I'll wear them tomorrow for my Nahida pulls. You'll use your noose? What? Hassan, no. You shouldn't have one of those. These sunnies will be for tomorrow. Ah, you see. I always flip them. But anyway, they're always skew. I don't know why. I got skill issue. This is fine. But yeah, so this program is really cool. If anyone else wants it, just boop me on Discord or Twitter or wherever you can contact me. Noose redemption. No! No. No nooses here, please. Thank you. Only good times. I don't know a single situation in which a noose is a good time. No, Hassan, don't Google things. No. Please. Oh, your nose. Hassan. Yeah, you see, noose and nose, it's a little bit different. Just one O makes all the difference. It's yeah. So yeah, this program typos abound. It's okay, guys. It's Tuesday. We're gonna blame any typos, any mistake, anything that happens today. It's fine. It's okay. Just blame it on the Tuesday, yeah? Because I choose to blame it on the day. Oh, Dory, no! I really need to put gear on her. This poor girl. Why does the game sound... Why does all the sound look so loud? Oh my goodness. Is it too loud, guys? Let me know. You can't type? It's fine. It's the Tuesday. It's the Tuesday bug, yeah? We're gonna go with that. It's good? It seems loud. I mean, it seems loud on my side. Like the bursts going off and shit. It sounds good? Okay. I'm just losing my goddamn mind then, apparently. This is fine. It's louder than normal? Yeah, I haven't changed the damn thing. I'm so confused. I never know. And I was speaking to Dan about this earlier. I said to him, I was like, I somehow break things without even touching them, so... You had a good shawarma? They give you a spicy one? Uh-oh. Can you eat spicy food, Hassan? I'm like trying to follow what you're saying, and I'm just picking words and I'm just deciding which ones I read. No? Uh-oh. Good luck for your butthole later. When did Twitch get rid of hosting? It happened, I think it was I want to say the 3rd of October. Oh, Aruna, there was like such massive outcry about it. But honestly, like, I haven't heard anything since it actually happened. Like, people were mad about it, and then it feels like everyone just forgot about it. You have a really big writing skill issue. It's okay, Hassan. You know, I have a deciphering skill, so I can mostly figure out what you were trying to say. You blame the uni and Kai and your twin. Wait, why your twin? What did she do? You're heartbroken. I'm sorry. Yeah, it does kind of suck. Cause yeah, like I don't even know if the auto host thing works anymore. Actually, like you know, like if you're not online. Just wasting that food on Dory. Oh, I scuffed it. Yeah, I don't know if that works anymore. Because they removed friends lists as well? Like, that, but they removed that a while ago, but they removed, like, the ability to, like, have friends on Twitch. For whatever reason. Come here, Twitch, I just want to talk. Yeah, it does kind of suck. It was a way to support the homies, you know, while you weren't streaming. And especially because my... my country's electricity is unreliable, so like I feel bad when I'm not streaming. Die. What's here? Or is it, oh, is it the hangy boys? Nice. I needed those for something. I don't remember what though. Anyway. They don't want us promoting our friends. The algorithm has been unaliving everyone's views. Yeah, they've been doing some weird shit. They've been doing really weird shit. I don't really know. They added in another thing. Is it under bits? Oh, okay, well I can't share in my own channel, so I can't even tell you. But they added like a weird, like, notice me senpai thing where you can basically pay stupid amounts of money just for your message to like stick to the top of the chat for a little bit. And the most ridiculous one, it was like $5 for like 30 seconds. Like, damn. It's like, yeah, notice me senpai feature. It's very strange. Joggin did it once as a meme. And I was like, no, because I didn't even see it. It disappeared before I had a chance to see it even. That button's gone. Oh, really? Okay, interesting. I mean, I'm happy because I wanted it gone a while ago. I didn't think it was I didn't think it was a worthwhile thing for them to have. A little notice me senpai button. Yeah, it's work time for Joggin. They can forget that sheet, right? It was very silly. Like the values they just didn't make any sense. Like it was so expensive to do it. And I can't think of why. Why anyone would do it, like... I guess for the bigger streamers, maybe. You want them to see your message, to pay attention. But imagine you, like, got the most expensive one and the streamer just never looked at it. Like, maybe they went AFK the second you did it. How grim would that be? Money-hungry corporate stuff? Oh yeah, no doubt. Okay, so the last time I did this, I let the kid win. You get an achievement for letting the kid win. So I'm curious if you get an achievement for beating the kid as well. Which I think is kind of like a douche move, to be fair. But I'm curious. I'm curious if you get an achievement for beating the kid as well. Destroy the child. Aruna's choosing violence over here. Why are you beating kids? I mean, they're testing, right? They're doing a science right now. Okay, no achievement for whipping their asses, but I think you get like 5 primos or something if you let them win. So it's worth doing, you know. 5 primos could be the difference between you and your next Archon, so... Just something to keep in mind. Is that a box for me? Ow. Oh, and a fish for me? Thank you. Another one. Wow. They had it coming. Oh no. More box. Also for me? 3 boxes? Shit, bitch. I don't know if these are gonna count for anything, but I might as well grab them. Oh yeah, I was busy. I was doing stuff, right? I was gonna do big ol' switcheroo to Cult of the Lamb tonight as well. You scienced it, and they count. Oh yeah. Our battle will be legendary. Wait, you and the kids? No, whip their asses. Jargon, I know you're working. I don't know if you are available to do Dormine. If you want to do this bad boy. Oh, I have stuff. Let me go turn that in quick. Oh man. Yeah, I mean it's worth letting them win once at least. Hi Samwise! I'm doing good. How are you? Sharing screen so probably. What do you mean probably shouldn't? You mean definitely shouldn't? Like 100% shouldn't? Like no doubt shouldn't? Yeah, surely. Surely it's like a guaranteed like you definitely should not be sharing your screen. Strong probably. I think it's a bit more than that, but sure. Let's go with strong probably. I want to say definitely, but you don't seem too keen on that. You're doing all good. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. Stuff's been kind of upsy downsies, back to front, loopy doopies lately, but I'm hanging in there. Cause what else am I supposed to do? So yeah, we just vibing. The load shedding is not helping, and my water keeps getting switched off. I never know when I wake up in the morning if I'll have electricity and or water. So my area is appalling for that kind of stuff. Do you play Monster Hunter? Depends who you ask. It definitely depends. If you're asking Kai, most certainly I play Monster Hunter. I've played it before, but not definitely not on stream and not like consistently or anything. But yeah, thank you, Samwise. It's my area is just really bad, and I can't even tell you why it's bad. Like, just there's always like water cuts and the communication is like really bad. Unfortunately not. Sometimes I'd like to. I mean, it's pretty fun. I tried to play it like a while ago, but like I played on keyboard and mouse, and wow, the controls are appalling. But I have a controller now, so I feel like it could be better. Hi Roxy! Thank you! I'm trying out something new. Playing around. I found something cute that I really like. It'll be a couple more days before I get enough materials for Nahida. To level 90, you need 4 more crystalline dust, cis dust from fungi, 15 more color palada lotus for level 80, another 60 load. Oh, if you're on EU, Isa, you're welcome to come and steal my lotuses. I only picked a couple just now. I couldn't tell you which ones exactly, but but I farmed out Nahida stuff a while ago, so like I have enough of the fungi things. Oh, you're not worried? Okay, no worries, no worries. And I farmed the flowers as well. Where are they? Are they under food? Yeah, I have enough, so... Thank you, Samwise! Yeah, take care. Thank you for the lurkies. I wear armor that looks nice instead of stats. Oh shit. Oh man, but the sets in that game look really cool. It's a controller game. Oh, no doubt, Rich. No doubt. 100% a controller game. Keyboard and mouse? Wow. I felt so stressed playing that game. Mouse and keyboard. No ways. Never again. But someone did actually buy me Monster Hunter. So maybe I should try it. Maybe I should gaslight Kai and actually play Monster Hunter. You want to play on mobile, Jargon? If you want to, you can. Oh, friend, shame. It's so difficult to play on mobile. But if you want, yeah, like, obviously, I'm not gonna say no. What a crazy notion. It's raining? Not by me. Not by me. Also, to all the peepers who joined, welcome. How are you guys doing? I hope you're all having a good Tuesday. Oh, by you? Ah, I mean, yeah, fair. I don't know where you live, but also don't say. No doxing yourself, please. It'll take me more time just to get the Dendro Cube drops than it'll take me getting the Fungus drops. That is true. That is true. I actually saved up... Where is this shit? I saved up these bad boys. These fragile resins. You know what? I might keep... So I'll use up today's resin and then I'll just keep... How much do I have? So I can make another 3. So I'll do 3 runs, Jargon, if you do want to join. Definitely hop in. Let me leave then. If you want to come be windy boy. Windy boy. Challenge failed. Wow, so embarrassing. So embarrassed. But yeah, I'll do 3 runs and then I'll save the rest of that stuff for Nahida-chan tomorrow. Because yeah, I wanna boop her to 90. The only thing I'm low on, which I'll top up obviously once we can fight the salad cube, is these bad boys. Pretty sure we'll need 50. Well, we'll definitely need 46, yeah. Because that's the standard amount of these bad boys, right? It's 46 to level whoever. So yeah, I've got a bit of a stockpile of resin sitting there, so man, I've had insane... Either I'm nauseous or I've got heartburn the last few days. What do we bring to this? It's Rosaria. I think so. Do I need to sneeze? Y'all saw nothing. Y'all saw nothing. This is fine. Oh, are we going something different? Oh wait, Bimby maybe didn't, because we're not in the dungeon. Never mind. Sorry, Bimby. Got Bimby's on mobile. Probably not worth changing until we go here. Let me see what the other Archons need. Ooh. I was gonna say I couldn't tell you, but I do technically have 2 of them. I never got Venti. Which is a little bit sad, but it's also kind of okay. Because I'm definitely getting Nahida tomorrow. I love the way they skip. Look at my kazoo. Wow! The audacity. Nice. Even on mobile, Binby's thrashing over here. He's whipping ass. You have to go, but you'll message on Twitter. Okay, perfect, perfect. Hopefully one of us remembers. Because yeah, I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Again. But just take care and have a nice day, because I think it's still daytime hours for you. Time zones are weird. I don't think I'll ever really get used to it. Get him. Nice. Yeah, it should be 46. Like no matter which character you're leveling, you'll need 46. I don't know for the talents what stuff you'll need. That I can't remember. Wow. Shitty shits. But yeah, just for leveling them, because it starts, it's like it's 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know about I don't know what obviously we're gonna be gated for the talents, for the boss material talents. Oh, first ascension doesn't need. I know that it's staggered. So it just slowly goes up when you want to cry, when all you need is a 1-3 drop, but you get a 2. I had that when I was farming for Cookie. 2, 4, 8, 12. I need to do something like that. Oh, Venti uses ballads. You mean the talent books? Wait! Peanuts! Why do you hate me? How are you doing, friend? Why HP? I want to cry. Okay, I'm done. It's crying time now. But it's okay. I'm gonna jam some guides to ballads. Yeah, fair. Wow! Hey, thank you, Peanuts. Thank you. You don't hate me? Oh, that's good to know. Roxy! How are you doing? Also, why did you say oh no? Why did you say oh no? You still have all the archons at 80? 90 is a huge stretch. Thank you for the hearts, Roxy. Oh, I was sad. It's because I got bunked on the head. Hella bunked. Alright, thank you, friend. Did you get any good pieces? Because I don't know if you saw, but I got pooped on. I got hella pooped on. Yeah, I leveled my characters to 90. Life's too short to have your characters at level 80. What if I die tomorrow? How embarrassing. My characters would only be level 80. I'm not about that kind of life, you know. So, I have mostly level 90s. I've got, out of the characters that I play, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that are level 80. And everyone after Sarah I don't play. please ignore the Hu Tao there. She's not actually there. It's a figment of your imagination. But yeah, so this is basically, so it's this plus Sarah, because I wasn't using Traveler before, and then recently I was like, damn, Dendro Traveler is kind of tasty, you know. So yeah, you have 3 units at 90. Xiangling, Sucrose and Shinobu. Oh, I big approve. I big approve of the Xiangling at 80. She's my homegirl, my slice, my boo. She's been with me since the beginning. Her and Fischl, they're besties. Gorba and Oz hang out together. They have fun together. So yeah, you should get everyone to 80. Yeah, but that's so expensive for a bunch of characters I'm not gonna use. So I've gotten a lot of them to 50. And this one, so I've gotten, like, that one. So I do have most of them to there. It's just, like, these ones that I obviously haven't done yet. But, yeah, I've been building a lot of characters lately, so... Hi, Chicken Wingers! Belated happy birthday. How are you doing? I think you had a birthday stream this week, right? Or, I don't know what day it is anymore. Was it last week? But I missed it. Sag Amber so far down. It's because I don't use her. Yeah, it's Sag. I don't use anyone past Sarah. I don't use, including Hu Tao. So this is yeah. We don't look at her. Oh, your birthday's a month from now? Mine is oh, from today specifically. Mine is in 16 days. So yeah. And she's C6. Most of my supports are C6, thankfully. I just have some random ones that aren't. So like, where are my supports at? Sucrose, she's been C6 forever. Rosaria, sadly, is only C1, which I only found out the other day. But Diona C6 and Xingqiu, finally. It took me ages to get him C6. And then Barbara, she's also been C6 forever. Benny Borken is only C5, but that's probably going to change tomorrow. Xiangling is C6. Goro is C6. We don't look at Cookie. Sara is C6. Yeah, and those are all the support characters I use. Hazel is only C2. Cookie sadly is C0. How sad, how grim. Makes me big sad. Ito is C4. C1. Who else has got cons? Mona is C1. Diluc is C3. Jean is C1. Chichi is C2. C2. Yeah, that's all the babies. With their cons. I'm doing alright, chicken wingers. You'll be 40? I'm turning 30. I'm turning 30. Yeah, in a few days. Hi, Despair! Yeah, I'm trying something new. I played around with some things and it's quite cute, I think. Aren't we not meant to C6 Benny because it's bad? So it's only bad for specific comps, Rich. It's very narrow. So we can go have a look at it. The comps that it narrows down, there's only like, I think like 3 or something. So this only infuses sword, claymore, and polearm. And there's a lot of comps that use those weapons that you wouldn't use Benny with anyway. So for example, I have a freeze team. I wouldn't use Benny there. I won't be C6ing him though. I'm not going to activate that last one because I don't know for future characters. Because what they've done with a lot of the newer characters, Ayato for example, I think his this one, so here his skill cannot, the hydro cannot be overridden, so it cannot be changed. So he came out obviously after Bennett, so they have this on some of the newer characters where it's like, okay, this damage type can't be overridden. I can't remember if Ito can... Yeah, here we go. So Ito also after Benny, this cannot be overridden because he's Claymore, yeah, so it would change if it didn't say this, if it cannot be overridden. So for the newer characters, they've started adding that. So I don't know, maybe they change something in the future, but for now, yeah, it's I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it. It doesn't hurt me. It honestly doesn't hurt me to leave him on C5, so that's if I even get any of him tomorrow. I might only get him tomorrow and no one else, but it's fine because I think all of the characters on that banner, they're donezo anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yoshinobu is also C0, but level 90. Yeah, I was very, I was weirdly unlucky and or lucky on Ito's rerun banner. So I got 3 Ito, he got 2 50/50s, and I, in 160 pulls, got 1 cookie. So I was very salty about that, which is why I said don't look at my cookie. I do use her though, I love her, but I cosplayed her, but she was like, nah bitch, I'm not coming home. 40 is the new 30, and 30 is the new 20, if you ignore the 10 years in between. Y'all are bad at math. You bought him from the store today? 5 AM sharp, you wanted your Benny? Oh, he's such a good boy. Honestly, like, he's an all-rounder. I know that we're getting a lot more specific support characters, like if we look at Goro, for example, absolutely made use of very well in a Geo team. Sarah, obviously, with an Electro team. Who else did we get that was kind of specific? Shenhe, who I don't have yet. Very specifically yet. I don't have her yet. I will get her, but she's very much a, if I'm not mistaken, cryo buffer. So, like, we started with Benny, who's an all-rounder, but Mihoyo's definitely giving us some supports that fit more specifically into a comp. Nilo, her banner was ranked 36 out of 37. Kaching is 37. Because remember, she had that, like, banner 100 years ago that people seem to forget about. It's me, I'm people. But people just didn't roll on Nilo, and I'm just like, oh, because I wanted her so badly, and I'm like, wait, but why aren't people rolling on Nilo? Apparently she's also a very niche character, so there's that. But yes, Benny's good boy. I don't use him, obviously I don't use him in all my comps because I want specific, you know, specific things. But yeah, so I wouldn't use him in my Electro comp because I don't want things to get exploded because it's very annoying to deal with. This is mixtape for obvious reasons. I use him in my Geo team. Very nice. Oh, the damage. So good. Obviously, I wouldn't use him in my cryo team, my freeze team, because I want things to be frozen. You're great at maths. Maths is bad at me. At you. Words. Yeah, I mean, sure, let's say that, Despair. Let's go with that. We knew the Dendro Archon was coming, so most people just saved. I'm actually surprised because I don't know. There wasn't great reception when Nahida, like when we saw her and stuff. People were complaining about her design. I was like, but why? She's so cute. How could you not want to have her? But anyway, this is my scuffed. I call it national, but we're gonna call it international because it's all over the place. But yeah, this team, I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's very silly to play. Also, thank you for the Loki's Papa T. I hope you're doing well. I'm gonna go back to panicking about how to ask a girl out. Despair, don't panic. Don't panic. That's the one thing you shouldn't do if you want to ask a girl out. Be confident, friend. Just believe. We believe in you. Right? So now you gotta believe in yourself. Believe... What's that quote from Gurren Lagann? Believe in me who believes in you. You got this to spare. No panic, only success. Shoot your shot and then what happens, happen. Exactly, exactly. Just, if it doesn't work out, just maybe it wasn't meant to be, yo. Then that's all good. Alright, and then this is my... Okay, this is my team that I'm using for everything. This is just like clusterfuck Dendro Explosion. I enjoy it very much. It's a lot of fun to play. I got Vape Nation, but honestly, I haven't really played with them yet, but I think it could be a fun comp. This is my fuck all the shit up random bullshit go Dendro comp that I quite like. And then this is Jargon. This is the team that Jargon likes to play because it's like a scuffed version of his freeze team. It's like a poor man's version because I don't have Yelan, I don't have Kazu, I don't have Shenhe. You know, I'm missing characters, right? I'm missing those are the two reruns that I'm not gonna let escape. Shenhe and fucking Kazu. I'm not letting them go. Next rerun, they're mine. I'm gonna have to cry if I'm gonna have to skip my Dendro babies, but that's my only priorities. My only priorities. Let me show you guys. My only priorities. We go to the archive. This one. And this one. And getting this bad boy to C6. Those are my only rerun priorities. Everyone else can wait. Everyone else can wait. Scaramouche is Animo? Because I don't want him. I need best boy, best support boy, Kazu. He's goodest boy. He drops that flashbang and you're disoriented, but it does the job, you know? But I'll see what Scarra's like. The thing is, because I'm looking for a support Animo, Sucrose would fill that role, but Kazu would fill it better, you know? Because he's basically just an accessory for my Ayaka, who's really good. So yeah. Vape Nation, poor team is gonna have fucked up lungs. I mean, the damage type is vape. So like if it's water and fire, it's vape, right? It's I think one of the good damage types, vape and melt. I think some of the highest damage in the game, just because if you get the multiplier, I think on pyro, it's pretty good. Cape, yeah. Cape Town? Cape... No capes? No capes? Wah! Thank you for the head pads. What do you mean capes, mama? Oh, you spelled vapor. Okay. Is that it for Genshin? No, I haven't claimed my stuff. Whoopsie. Okay, so I'm running out of friendship characters to level, so yeah. But I can show you guys a trick that I learned. If you wanna, I mean, I'm not gonna do it now, but I'll show you one time. There's a place where you can go and grind friendship, which sounds like a weird thing to say, but you know. Video games, am I right? I don't know why I'm collecting these, but I am. How cute is the head pat though? I tried it out the other day and the sound gave me a fright, but I thought it was hella cute. Also, this is completely unnecessary, the step that I do, but I'm just like, why would two forest rangers not have a fucking ability to explore the fucking forest? So you're joking me? So in defiance of MiHoYo being silly about that, I just always send them. All it does is waste my time. I don't know why I do it. All it does is waste my time. But I'm not gonna stop. Can't stop, won't stop. You speak truth though, right? It's silly! It's silly! How? How on this green earth, you're telling me the 2 rangers don't have like some kind of exploration thing? I mean, to be fair, he has got what is it? Encyclopedic knowledge, so he knows he can spot all the stuff on the minimap for you, but like, what's Lele got? Lele's got an exploration one, but it's like gliding. Bro, come on, man. Just make them explore faster. Give those skills to someone else. Unbelievable. Anyway, their passives are still good. It's just not in the way that I would have liked them to be, you know. Do we actually have anything to do at the moment? Okay, the answer is no. Also, yeah, this Abyss has reset, right? Yeah. Oh, it's actually, it really is. Oh, I had no idea. I couldn't believe. I thought it reset like once a month. Thanks for the shouty outy. I wish they let us customize that because I want to see what you were playing. Because I'm nosy. Who's being naughty? It was. I want to say it's most likely Jargon. Simply because I know he watches your streams. Yeah, I think that's it for Genshin for today. Like I said, I'm gonna save the rest of this Razam. And then yeah, I always feel so lost without the battle pass. Like I don't know what I've done and what I need to do. Oh! Hello. Two whole primos into the Nahida funds. I'll take that. So I guess when I play this again, we'll be pulling for. Where's that gonna make me teleport? We'll be pulling for Nana. I've decided that's her nickname, even though Chi-Chi's Japanese name is Nana. Nahida is Nana now. Nahida is the Nana now. So we are going to make a team comp for this as well. So let's see. I need to name some of these. I have Electric Boogaloo, Mixtape, Rock Band, Ice Ice Baby. But I don't have one for my... this one. You're being bullied by who, mama? I don't have one for this one. I got Vape Nation, which isn't really a music-related name, but it's okay. I'm gonna change this one, though. Okay, so we're gonna have our Dendro characters, and then because I have 2 of the Archons, they're also gonna be there to welcome her. So this is my Nahida welcome squad. The 2 Archons that I have, and then Dendro babies. Moose, Hex, and Ginger are bullying you? What are they bullying you to do, Mal? Is it something that you should be doing and that's why they're bullying you? Seems like a sensible group of people to bully you, to be fair. Call me crazy, but, you know. I didn't open my Steam earlier. They're calling you a bratty bottom. Well, are they wrong? Is it bullying? If they're right. Hey, Daddy, why you throw a poo at my head? Unfucking believable. You should feel bad. Do you feel bad? Because you should feel bad. You probably don't, but just know that you should feel bad. Hey! Daddy! No! Cupcake! No! Daddy! What the? This is abuse. What the heck, man? Tato has abandoned me. Hey! This is actual abuse. This is abuse. How dare you? Do we play Did we play... What was the plan? The plan was to play... Wah! Thank you, Roxy! You see, Roxy loves me. Don't know about the rest of you. GG's, Hassan. Are you studying, Hassan? It's so cold. Hey! Daddy! No! No. Please. Spare me. Give me peace. Turn off your aircon, Hassan. Maybe then it won't be so cold. Hey!
Jargon1674 screamed. 30 biddies.
Daddy
fart sound.
streamed. Here's your piece.
Hey! Wait, did she read it? Banned, blocked, unfriended. Ma, what the fuck? Your mom called because you're spending all your money on what is this? You're spending all your money on words. On your aircon. I don't condone bullying unless it's towards it. Why are you guys bullying me? What the fuck? What part of I had a hard week and it's only fucking Tuesday did you guys completely ignore? She can't bully me. Ah! What is this? Also, hi Ripple! How are you doing? Hey! Stop your shit. You good? Oh, fantastic. Alright, so let's see. Is this one, yeah? I haven't played this in so long, you guys. I hope you're not all, like, starving. But it's fine. Hey! Peanuts! Why? Why abuse? If you hate me, just write it. Just write in the chat. How to play this game. The blood moon rises! The seasons change in the lands of the old faith. Celebrate the rise of the blood moon with a special event. Oh, maybe I should turn on the point thingy for it, actually. Just a moment, please and thank you. I can also actually turn off the Genshin music because obviously I'm not listening to it. Yeah. I'll be playing this game instead. Ah, thank you for the hearts, Peanuts. When you gonna play League with me? Hassan, I haven't played League. I want to say like 7 or 8 years, probably. Yeah, actually that sounds about right. 7 or 8 years. It's been a long fucking time since I last played that game, and I have likely no intention of ever playing it again. It's not my jam, you know. Let's see. Introducing Guest Star. Guest Star helps you bring guests onto your stream and includes safety and moderation features. Oh shit! Click the Guest Star quick action to get started. Okay. Why does Twitch say my stream is unstable? What the fuck? Here? Keyframe interval too high? I don't even know what that means, but okay. Glad that that's a thing that I can see here. Anyway, I was gonna go just turn on the channel point thing. There it is. Contribute to Cult's Totem. I also reduced the cost. Wait, so fast. Okay, thank you, Dragon. Not Cult of the Lambs, the extension never works for me. Oh, wait, really? Hoping one of them will be a box? I don't think so. I don't think so. The app that I'm using is still in development. It's in alpha. Perform a new limited time blood moon ritual to summon the spirits of the dead for 3 days. Find the ghosts of the fallen followers and grant them amnesty from this world. Collect horrifying new follower skins and decorations for your cult. Boy! Let's go! Damn! All of these things got used up. Looks like we have fucking tons of stuff though. So that's cool. Hey, Hydro Boy! What's cracking, homie? A cold wind blows, the dead are near. I hear them whispering, perform a blood moon ritual so we might see their restless spirits. Sure. Just a second. I need to go check all the crappers. Make sure y'all aren't filling it with poo. Oh! I have oh, here's Lucy. She's old as fuck. She's also the tax collector, so she's got a cool hat on. I forgot about that. There's a lot going on here. I feel like I don't really remember how to play this game. Whoopsie. No. Oh, and there's stuff here as well. Oh, money. Money. I guess kind of worth it to make money and to make gold if I needed to build anything. Alright, I forgot about all these. You literally don't need to do anything for resources when you have that thing. I guess yeah, let's start with the ritual. So we can figure out what we need to do. Oh, it's this one up here. Oh, it needs 20 pumpkins. Thank God I have. You gonna go study? No worries, son. I hope it goes well. Hello, motherfucker. Hi, Chris. Go study, Hassan. How you doing, homie? Might as well while I'm here.
Ha! Got him!
Ah! Joggin! Oh my god. Thank you. 12 months of tier 1 to Hassan. Thank you, Joggin. That's a whole year. Hassan, you've got a whole year of Tato. Thank you, friend. Ooh. Collect reward from Hydro Boy. Why? What's wrong? Why is he panicking? Where? I don't know. He seems upset though. Oh, there's little spookies. No! What is that? Froggy? Oh, that's the bird! Sweet! So what, are there more spookies that are terrorizing my... Oh, there's a little unicorn. Who's the unicorn? Juger. Who's that? I'm so confused. So are there more little spookies? Like, are they terrorizing my people? Do I have to get rid of them? Oh, there's a fish. Hey! Get in here. There's a dead body? There is? Oh fuck, someone died? Did I miss that? Here? Oh shit. Nikoi! Aww. When did they die? Oh my god. Feels bad, man. Thanks, Dragon. The bird beak. Oh yeah, so... That's actually quite a funny thing you mentioned, Cupcake, because, it was something... So the Twitter page... posted it, And they even were like anatomically incorrect bird. And then people were posting, there's some dog character, I can't remember what she was from. But yeah, people were posting that as well. Oh, there's a hello. Sheesh! Oh my god, that's adorable as hell. Oh my god. Oh! Hello! Come here, you. Wait! Get in my book. Oh, there's another one. How many spookies are there? Ayo! I didn't know that would be so easy. I thought it was gonna be like difficult. I'd have to like go and fight bosses and shit. Maybe there are some more challenging things, but Blood Moon Candle! Oh, that's spooky as hell, man. I'll take that. Thank you for the contribution. Also, thank you for the biddies earlier. I can't remember if I said thank you. It's just been sitting in the back of my head. I'm like, did I say thank you? Am I an ungrateful bitch? Like, my brain was panic. I don't want to be part of a Twitter trend. I retract my statement. Oh. What's wrong with Twitter trends? I mean... Depends on who you're talking to, yeah? Because, okay, so basically I'm just looking for spooky spooks, right? A skull! Oh my god, that's so cute! I love that. With the little flowers? Fucking blessed, man. Whoever designed that, thank you. Because that's really cute decor, actually. Is that a... What is that? Is that also spooky? It is! Did you guys see him in the dark? Oh wait, you couldn't see because I'm hiding him, but... There's a little ghost. Just off screen, you can see him there. Fucking... People gave me a fright, man. Oh! Oh, divine inspiration unlocked, yeah. I generate way too much faith. Roxy Peak and Hydro Boy have become friends. Oh, blessed. Oh shit, someone died. Caius. Oh! Uh-oh! Uh-oh, that was a mistake. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. That's what I get for not playing on controller. Oh my god, I want to die. Oh, yo. Oh yeah, I didn't change my... I just realized now. Set game. What is this called? Cults of the Lamb. I didn't eat them, but I cut them up to eat them, basically. Feels bad, man. Oh no! It's okay to eat people. I don't want to, though. Oh man. Fuck. Oh, that's cute. Little pumpkin. This is adorable as hell, man. Oh yeah, don't do that. Oh. If there's anyone in chat who wants to join, just shout. Because I do have like spare like people. Like there's a thing here. So if anyone wants to join the cult, if you haven't joined yet, you know, you're welcome to join. I have space. People are dying of old age all the time. Because, yeah, we don't sacrifice people here. So you can eat us? No. Typically I'll bury people so I can revive them later. Because I don't like my peepos being dead. So I just... You never get to die, basically. You're not allowed to die. You must survive. You must live and thrive and have a long life. Like Vice. Vice has got the longest life. Because I was so worried about him dying, I was like, you will be given the amulet that gives you a long life or whatever. Because he was like sickly and I was like, no, I don't want him to die.
I would like to join. I will be the best worker ever. Can't promise I won't ask for poo.
I mean, just based on what I know about you, I feel like you would definitely ask for poop, so yeah. Oh, guys, I have a sudden hankering. Fucking cheese coals. What? It's not. It's 9:30 at night. Why do I want cheese coals, bro? I'm getting trolled by my own brain. All I can think about right now is cheese coals. Fuck. Didn't you sacrifice jargon? Yeah, but that was an actual mistake. I was so upset about it. Because it said ascend, right? So I was like, oh, okay, make him like a higher level villager, yeah? It wasn't at all. I was not happy about it. But let's see if we can do the thing. Let's see if it works for you. Copy cake. She put me into the ceiling fan? Like, basically, yeah, actually. Gonna ban Llama the Cupcake if he asks for poop. Live a long life like lice? No, not lice, vice. Vice. She knew what she was doing? No, definitely not. Jargon was given one of the... are you watching on mobile or PC, Llama? Not Llama, fuck! Cupcake! Fuck, man. You're on PC? I'm trying to think. You are Llama now? I know. You don't see it? It will work on mobile. There's a thing. Oh, so it's not... Okay, hold on. Let me check my extensions then. Because it might not be... Did anyone try the... What am I doing? Create a dashboard. Does anyone use the closed captions? Like, are they any good? Because I feel like they're probably not. Because I might need to turn that off. Because I need an overlay, but I don't know how many overlays you can have. Oh, I got overlay 1. Let's go. Oh, you can only have 1? Ah, shitty bitties. Okay. That's fine. Alright, how about now? If you guys refresh the stream, you see the thing now? You might need to refresh the stream. I don't know. Okay. I just want to take closed captions off of my tags because I don't want to feel like a liar. Oh, there's thunder. I'm going to leave the Genshin tag because I mostly play Genshin, so it's okay. Let's close my own stream, thank you, because that's cringe having your own stream open, but I can go lurkies on... There we go, alright. I'm supporting the homies, got everyone else's streams open. I see Dan's still playing Dark Souls. I don't know if I'll be able to cancel the raffle. I can't remember. Where? What have I done? Oh! I was able to. May need to go back. Ah, yeah, sorry. Well, we got 1 people. We got 2 peoples! Oh my god. Rich, you got it? Cupcake, did you get it? Did you get in? Does it work for you this time? That's so weird. What browser are you using, Cupcake? Fresh blood. Tasty. You want to enter again? No, but you're already in, Mal. You don't need to enter again. Rebel! Rebel, you can make your people. Make 12 volts. Like jargon. I have I think 3, maybe 4 jargons in this game. Safari? That might be the problem, Cupcake. I don't know. Cause you have a MacBook, right? Monkey! Ah! Oh my god! This is now my cutest cult member. Meet Rebel Monkey. Can we get a shouty outy for Rebel Monkey? If anyone's available. Oh my goodness. You're sickly. Oh no! We're gonna have to take care of you then, Rebs. Chrome was taking too much. Oh man. I hate to break it to you, but yeah, I think unfortunately that's how it be. Oh my god, your monkey is so cute! And it's very on brand as well, so aces. Thank you for the shady yaddy. Ooh, oh, that's food, not poo. Okay, we're good. We're good. Oh, they clean up their own poo now. Thanks, guys. Oh, because we got the outhouse, right? Yeah. Let me, Yeah. Cults don't want a cupcake. So, cupcake, I don't know. You could try on mobile and see if it pops up. Does anyone know if it will work? Give me your login and I'll get you into the cult. I would trust Jargon. Then again, I met people from Mixit, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask about trusting people. I still can't believe I accidentally cut up that other person. Oof. That's all I can think about. Do we have enough houses? We do, okay. Mix it? Oh my goodness. I'm showing my age, hey? Okay. Stream's gonna lag. This is fun. Otherwise, I would say try and do it on mobile. I don't know. I'm sure it does work on mobile, right? Like, what? Why is this shining? I just need to be right back quick. This music's fucking dope though. Holy shit. Okay, be right back, guys. So, I wasn't sure. I was very confused just now. But like... so there's like a weird smell of sulfur in the air, and I was like... Did I fart and not realize it? And I was like, no ways, right? Because you would have... You can feel a fart come out, yeah? I was like, there's no ways. I would have known. And then my next thought was like, oh yeah, we had thunder just now. Maybe, oh, baby bear. Maybe Sky pooped himself because he was scared. And I was like, that's a weird smell for dog farts though. But it wasn't. But I brought him into the room anyway, and he's looking very sorry for himself right now. Hey, sausage. Go sleepies. Yeah. Anyway. But I walked out the room, and like, I heard Ray talking about like sulfur, and I was just like, what the fuck? I don't know why. There's like a weird smell in the air and I have no idea why. What caused it. This Vitato handles AFK a lot better. It's because she has auto blink on. The other one doesn't have auto blink. I could turn it on, but then like it doesn't blink when I blink, so it only has auto blink. Like this one doesn't blink when I blink. And I feel like a lot of my like expression is lost when I can't blink, right? Because I'm a sassy blinker, yeah? So like... Hey baby bear. Shame he doesn't seem happy. Poor buddy. Whoa, Yoda, hello, why are you shiny, bro? What program are you using? So, elephant farts. Wait, what? No extension on mobile, only affiliate emote panel and sound alerts. Ah, Cupcake, I'm sorry. Also, does someone else want to join? Because I have another peepo. If someone else wants to join, just shout. Rich, did you want to join? I don't know, because I know there was 2 people in the thing. I think maybe if you do want to join, just shout and then I'll open the raffle for you. Mao, you can't join if you're already here. You're literally already here. You can't join. I can raise you probably. Yeah? Okay, perfect. So the program I'm using is a different one. However, it is like, I guess for lack of a better word, powered by VC Face. So the motion tracking on, it's called VTuber Kit. If you want to give it a try, Rich, just pop me a DM on like Twitter and I'll send you the link. But you like fully make everything like yourself. It's actually very, very cool. I had a lot of fun playing with it the other day. Let me open the raffle. Sorry. Yeah, so yeah, it's called VTuber Kit. It's like I said, powered by VC Face, so the motion tracking uses VC Face, but you don't actually need to have VC Face open to do the tracking. This one does the tracking and the rigging and the... Need to update the command? Oh, yeah, for this one. You've dabbled in it? You have a VTuber? Oh, nice! Yeah, so... yeah, so... What kind of VTuber do you have? Because, like, this is like a 2D one. I have a 3D one as well. Hi, little turtle. I'm already part of the cult. Since when? Do you want me to go find you, Peanut? You might be dead, to be fair. Probably like 2 months ago. Yeah, when I played last. Very nice. I don't know if we have a turtle, actually. Zealous and also cynical. What the... How can you... Contradictory. Let's go look for Peanuts. Yeah, you can worship as well. Hey! Peanuts! God damn. Oops. Are there gonna be more ghosts? I don't know how this works. I'm just honestly, at this point I'm just trying to manage my cult. There's a ghost. Come here, come to me. Stand still. But yeah, you're probably dead. I can go have a look for you. There's another ghostie. Oh wait, we're not getting more stuff anymore, right? Hey, there's Yoda Max G. What's Hydro Boy doing? A little bit sussy, sir. Alright, Sushi Powder, Nikoi, Monsi, fucking Chaos, Dan's dead. Jargon, Jargonian, Epic Bubble, Crazy Mug. Alright. Naruto-kun, Vampire Squirrel, Gamehead, Vicky Villain, Toto. Another Dan? Wait, what? Didn't we have... Eh? Eh? Hit Anandayo, we have 2 dead Dans. Casual Gamer, Juggernaut, Jartato Potato. I like how I put there's 2 Jargons there and then there's 2 Jargons here. So all my Jargons are currently dead. I need to investigate. Converse Fox and Tank. I don't know where Mao is though. Mao, you still alive? Oh, there you are. You're well alive. Look at you. Should I send you on a mission? The last time I sent you out, you died though, so... Who is this? Who is this? Juger? Who did you chop up? I chopped up Caillou. Caillou's. A whole damn bowling ball. Oh wait, I missed messages. Also, thank you for the contributions, Jargon. Made avatar in VRoid Studio. Ah, yes, and VC Face. Yeah, so that's what I used for my 3D model. I used VRoid as well, and then I used VC Face for the motion tracking. This one, if you do want this, Rich, like I said, just pop me a message on Twitter so I can send it to you later, because I'm forgetful, so I won't remember. It's literally a case of out of sight, out of mind, unfortunately, for my brain. So yeah, if you do want to play around with it, let me know. Anybody here, just DM me on Twitter. It's very easy, it's very fun to use. Like, honestly, I had so much fun with it. Do you want it as well, Jargon? I will send it. But also, I can do fun stuff like make like so. What? Where is it? Well, bunk. And then let's put him, there we go, in front of my hair. So yeah, can do silly things. I've got Jargon on my head now. Should put him on my back because he's always on my case, on my back. How much customization does it have? Do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see? Oh, it's actually, oh guys, I really enjoy using this app. It's quite fun. All right, let me show you, because it's still, I think it's in alpha. Yeah, public alpha. So let me right, here's me. So there's just some things that you have to set up. This is like standard stuff. The voice activation determines your mouth. So like, ah, or just a little quiet whisper, and then I talk a little bit louder. Ah! Yeah, you see? The mouth changey. You make it small. Ah! Or big. Or there's like a in between, and then it gets bigger! Like that. Yeah, it's very, very cute app. You can choose your background color as well. But really, that, I don't think it matters too much. It's just like for like green screen, basically. You want more customization than VRoid? Okay, don't Mao, what part of this is in alpha did you ignore? Yeah, so there's a bunch of settings that you just have to set up. You can just fiddle around with what? Let's not do that one. That's my settings. But yeah, so customization. No, don't make that Mao, it's in alpha. It's not even beta, it's alpha. They're still busy working on it. They're working hard and they're doing a great job. So be nice. Don't be angry. So yeah, they have so the back of the hair, there's like, oh wait, let me take Blanky off. There we go. There's like long hair. There's actually quite a few different styles. I didn't look through all of them. But yeah, there's a fair amount of stuff. And it's the rigging is just like part of it. So you don't have to do anything. It's just there. This one's like a big old braid. You can't really see it though because of my tail. But yeah, it's pretty cute. And then yeah, so obviously that's mine. And then there's different kinds of bangs. You can have none if you want. Yeah, different bangs. Actually, that one, what was I using before? That one's cute. Was I using this one? I want this one now. And then you can set up like the base color and shading. The stuff looks a little bit harsh. Hold on, it was over here. Looks a little bit harsh on this one. But yeah, like I said, you know, it's like they're still testing it. They're still figuring things out. So yeah, just gotta be patient. And then there's like different eyes. There's not a lot, but like I said, it's obviously still, they're figuring things out. But even so, I think they've got some nice options. Different mouths as well. If you want a square mouth, because maybe you're a robot and you got a little mouth, but you look distraught, I guess. Like, ah, scary games kind of mouth. There's other ones, like a round one, a rounder one that looks happy, I guess. This one just looks like spooky, I guess. Hi, Alvain. Does jiggle physics? Yeah. Not much to jiggle, though. And then, yeah, so... Yeah, I think it's pretty cute, though. Also, you can definitely do... Oh, I don't know what my face is doing. You can definitely do multicolored hair in VRoid Studio Mao. That's definitely a thing that you can do. They have some clothing options. Not much, but yeah, like I said, it's still in the betas. So I played around with some of these. This one, I don't know what I was smoking, but the color combination here is questionable at best. So these are all just the things that I was playing around with. And then there's some like tops, so you can like mix and match some things, but there's like undies, and then for whatever reason there's a sensor bar. I don't know what that's all about. There's a shirt, there's a hoodie. I've played with the hoodie and the shorts. There's also a skirt. Those are like undies, and then there's the sensor bar again. And then there's socks. Some of the socks are actually really cute. So there's like no socks. Yeah, there's no socks. There's thigh highs. There's kitty thigh highs, which is what I was wearing before. There's these frumpy socks. Normal what is it called? Calf high socks, and then ankle high. But yeah, I like the kitty cat ones. Even though you guys can't even see it, I know they're there. And you know what? That's good enough for me. Why did my shirt go red? I don't think I had it on red. I don't even know what color I had it on. Do they even have it on the color? I feel like it was white. I don't think I changed it. Anyway, so yeah, you can customize quite a bit. And then there's like extra doodaddies. So they didn't have like, you know, round bear ears. The closest was like this, but I was like, these just look like buns, you know? So I don't even know what this changes. Nothing by the looks of it. So yeah, I don't use those. And then obviously they've got different tails as well. So obviously I got a big foofy one, but you can have a slimmer one, like a woofy. And I don't know what tail this is, but you know. And then it's like a kitty cat tail as well. The only thing is they only sway down. I don't know if that's something we can change. You're just stupid. That's relatable as fuck, Mao. Because I don't know how to do it, but I've watched people make giant antlers in VRoid, and I'm just like, but how did you do that? How? I step away for 2 seconds and clothing is gone. What the hell? Sorry, Peanut. Sorry you had to see that. I'm just showing the peepos. There's also a leaf, which is kind of cute. Which I kind of want to use, but I don't know if it looks okay. What do you guys think of the leaf? Is it cute? Should I leave it? We're gonna have it there. Joggin is keeping an eye on it. You do a protect. And then you can add stuff. You can add stuff, and it's a lot of fun to add stuff because it's very silly. But I was showing some of you earlier. So my chat and my face is kind of covering it. But I can show you like this. Alright, so you like it? I'm dating someone who makes VTubers and I still wait. Yeah? Makes VTubers? That's pretty cool. What kind does Hex make? But you can add stuff. So if it's a transparent PNG, then you can add it. So I have this one, which goes behind my head. Like so. It's kind of scuffed the way I did it, but it's okay. And then, oh wait, there it is. The size is wrong. So you just need to resize it and then make sure that it's Yeah, we're gonna cover up the jargon and the leaf there, but it's okay. And then, yeah, and then make a wibbly wobblies on my head. If you want it to be more like secure and not move as much, you can change where it attaches to. So, like if you attach it onto your face, it does the wibble wobble, whatever your face does. So if you attach it to the hair, it's gonna wibble wobble a lot. But yeah, I need to move this down a bit then, just so the back of the hood, the inside of the hood. Yeah, and you can add anything in. I mean, this is an emote of mine. This is the, well, not an emote. It's the thing that I got made for Joggin. So now he can just there we go. He can sit in there. He can sit there with me. So the one thing that this doesn't have is it doesn't have like expressions like what is that other Vroid? So Vroid's a bit more like, I want to say like customizable. I think you're a ball. Yeah, it's more customizable with like the expressions. They might add that in the future, but it's really fucking cute. I love it. I love it. It makes my heart sing. Hi, Six! Hello, hello! And Huntsman! Hi! How are you guys doing? That's something Ninja would do? Oh yeah, he would sleep in the hood. Alright, Oh yeah, I was gonna send Mao out because he was complaining about not being in the game, but he's here. So I'm gonna go get him killed, and then I can revive him, right? That's how this works. What do we need? Do we need anything? I don't know. How you doing? Hi, you Six. Hi, Huntsman. How you doing? Hope you guys are having a good day. I don't know. We don't really... I guess we could go get more meat. Mama, you gonna go get us some meat? Thank you. Oh, guys. This guy's looking so sad. He's like staring at me all sad and shit. Bye, Mama. Who else can we send out for meat? Who's my... Oh, Vice. Vice is not an old man. Member for 97 days. 113 years old. Vice is best boy. Hi, Six! You're odd seeing me use a VTuber model. Wait, Six, you haven't seen my 3D model? I do VTuber stuff too. I'm just like a part-time VTuber. You don't know? Yeah, I found this. Well, I didn't find this. Azzy sent me this app. Ah, thank you for the balloons! Gonna be on the side, just sorting out some work. No worries, Huntsman. No worries. I'm doing well though. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, Six. Otherwise, yeah, I'm okay. Oh, it's done now. What do I do now? Oh, money! You get money? Oh my god, that's amazing. Fuck yeah. Used to make VTuber models, but you're too busy now. Oh! Yeah, I just have I made my babies myself because I don't got money to buy thing fangs, but I have a Vroid model that I made that I'm very proud of, and then also this one which I Azzy sent me a program because I told her I wanted a 2D model for a while. But no money for that, so she was on the lookout for like free things for me. But yeah, I do VTubing stuff every now and then. It's a lot of fun. I get to play around with different programs and different things, so I have a lot of fun with it. All right, so I don't know. Shall I go fight some things? It's been a while since I played this, but I think I've collected all the Halloween-y stuff. To be fair. Also, if anybody wants to join, just like shout or forever hold your peace because I have got spares. You're deciding my fate? Oh shit. Wait, I'm stuck here now. Look at all these stinky ghosts. Should I... Let me go do... let me go revive someone, maybe. I don't know if I have like currency for it or something. It's a ritual, yeah? It's not that one. I did it once and I'll never do that again. It's this one, right? Yeah. Let's bring one of our jargons back. No escape. Hey, there's the spare Hydra boy. Bubbles dead. Oh, goodness. There, Caillou. I can bring Caillou back because I accidentally cut him up for food. Fucking chaos. There's jargon. So wait, there is 2 fucking chaoses, yeah? So let's see. What was that? 4? I want to see if they look the same. No, there's only 1. Oh, that's so weird. I wonder if it glitched or something. It's showing 2 dead Dans now. Jargon's only 52. Damn, homie. Why did you die, though? Let's just do a sermon for shits and giggles, because why not? Not that I need the stuff, but it's okay. Bam! Okay. Look at my good babies. Instantly pooped or vomited. Thanks, guys! Oh my god. It was literally just a poop explosion. Guess I'm cleaning this then. What else would a cult leader do if not clean up everyone's mess? See, this is why we brought Jargon back from the dead, because he doesn't sleep. Which is a fairly accurate representation, I reckon. Oh my goodness, they just literally exploded from both ends. Just poop and vomit everywhere. Disgusting. Disgusting shit! Okay. My favorite thing is like the old people. Because like, they take forever to walk to their houses. Alright. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, I'm confused about the double dams then. That is okay. Right. Thanks for the contributions. Kai is old as fuck. Yeah, why not? If anybody wants to join, shout. Be like, hey yo, can I join the cult? Because anyone's welcome to join. Let's see, where was I? Where? I forgot we had that. We don't have Chichi note no more. No more Chichi note, it's Lele note, yeah? Oh fuck, I remember this one was difficult. Rip Chichi, but yay, we got Lele. It's a small sacrifice for Lele, you don't think? Let's see. Calamitous? On landing? Anyone is allowed to join besides Llama? I mean... How do I... Oh! How do I... Where? Am I... How do I attack? Oh? I didn't know you could do that! Oh wait, that was the power that... Oh my goodness. Whoa! Oh man. So, oh, I see now. I thought that was the weapon. Ah. My sadness is immeasurable and my day is ruined. Oh! Nice. Give me materials. I can't use this weapon, it's so slow. Oh my goodness. I'm actually gonna die in this run. This is not gonna go well. Jesus Lord, guy. What? One shot, one kill. Rip, man. Okay. The only thing is, like, when it comes to breaking stuff, because I need bones. Oh, wait, I still have to break them. Oh, no. This is slow as hell, man. Oh, is that Thunder Lily? I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, Llama, I don't know what to tell you, homie. It really does suck. Like, feels bad, man. Yaku, the boneless, has died of old age. Yoda and G-Max both are terrified of death, which I found to be fucking hilarious. Like, what are the chances, you know? Both of Yoda's characters are terrified of death. Ooh, I'll take that. It is what it is. Yeah, sorry, homie. It is the big suck, though. Yeah, eat shit, you bitch. And this one? Hot stepping me? How dare you? Unbelievable. Alright, same but different. Ah! Chicken and macaroni, chilling with the homies. Chicken wing, hot dog and bologna. Chicken and macaroni, chilling with the homies. Welcome, Dan. This is awkward. I now have a tab open to my own stream, so that's cool, I guess. Thank you for the raid, Dan. Look at this. I had you open. Like, if I go... There, look. Gross. Disgusting, man. Disgusting shit. How was your stream, Dan? Did you have a good time? Did you end up killing that guy? Okay, I'm just gonna close this. I can't... I can't deal. It was alright. You didn't get him? Ah, what was the secret in the end? Thank you for the shouty outy, Dragon. Yeah, Dan was fighting some boss in what is it? Donk Souls. Donk Souls 3. What was this one? Oh, just chop. Can't remember what happens when you chop this guy, but it's hella raining. Oh my goodness. I don't know why, but it's making me feel anxious. Oh, you killed two? Wait. So there was the one where I joined. Oh wait, they can... Ow, you bastard! Okay, so it kind of hits really hard, so it's kind of like a stun, I guess. Not too bad. So the guy I was watching you fight, it was like right at the beginning of your stream. Oh, you killed another one so fast? Damn. But what weapon did you end up going with? Because I remember you were like conflicted about which weapon to use. Did you guys hear the thunder? It's like bucketing outside currently. Oh, I shot and then I missed. Okay, those guys are really weak, but... Send the thunder to me? Yeah, I would if I could, Six. My doggy's not a big fan of it, to be honest. I live in Johannesburg though, so if you live out of the province, I can't send you the thunder. I'm like legally obligated to keep it here. Ooh, that's pretty. Nice. Okay, so I have 4 more to collect. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, you went with twin swords? Oh, I didn't get to see you play with that. I'm pretty sure when I was watching you, Dan, you had like a claymore in the beginning, and then you had one big sword, but it wasn't a claymore big. It was just like probably like a long sword or something. Why is that glowing red? Just blow really hard. Oh gosh. I could try. I could try. I want to know what the question mark is, yo. I think I've... I don't know if I've bought all the follower skins for this one. Hi, Yoda! Hello! Hello, hi. How are you? Oh! Eh, what is this? What the? Huh? Destroy? Ah, yes, okay. Oh, it's wood! Ah! I see, I see. How you doing, your doodles? Wow, why bonk? Lama! Ehe, tenadayo! How you doing, Yoda? Obviously this one. Oh, we got a seahorse! 10 out of 10. What's cracking, homie? I'm just gonna destroy all your shit, don't mind me. I'm looking for hearts and... Oh, I'm full on hearts. And all free gifts. Because I find those sometimes laying around in your camp. And you ain't using this shit, so I might as well, yeah? Waste not, want not, and all. Okay, sorry, I destroyed your camp for nothing. Whoops! How you doing, your doodles? Can I buy meat? Is that what this is saying? Oh! Chest drop food. Oh, that's what it means. Damn it. This is fine. I'll live. Hi, Brainman! Hello, hello! All the peoples is all up in here. How you guys doing? Steel devotion, give me. And bam! Fuck you. Fucking bidini bijoonies. Whoops! Wayo! Wow! I don't know if I need to destroy all this shit here. I want crystal, but... Ooh, hello! Fertilizer! Oh, there's piles of poop here! Ah, yes, the ones with the stinky green bubbles coming off of them. What was that weird thing that I killed then? Also, this hammer is actually ridiculous. What the fuck? I wonder if I'll ever finish... All special hearts have been removed. Wait! What the fuck? You guys want to make my life difficult? What the hell? You hate me? You didn't know I was live? Oh no, that's fine. It's fine. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Brayman. Yeah, Yoda. Yeah, to answer your question, Yoda, I'm doing good. How are you? You good, homie? Wah! Itai! Wah! Ooh! Another shiny. I'll take that. I sometimes wonder if the Twitch stuff actually works because, like, my Twitch stream actually... I sat here for a long time before Stream Elements and Seribot were like, hey, Lucy died! G-Max Yoda and Yoda Max G are both upsetty regretty about the thingy-majiggy. That's fine. You missed 2 hours? Oh, sorry, Yoda! It'd be like that sometimes, though. It's okay. Receive double health when healing. Could be good. Let's see what else we can get. Thank you for the contributions, Dan! I didn't even introduce myself to the raiders. My brain is not working. My brain is actually not working. But welcome to the raiders. Ryan, Hatto, hello, how are you? Both of you died? No, Yoda, you didn't die. You're afraid of people dying. I've had 2 people die while I've been out. So both your characters just get upset when someone dies. Oh! I'll take that. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, Yoda, but it's quite funny that literally both your characters are like, we don't like death, actually. So every time someone dies, both your characters are like, oh my god, I can't believe someone died. And then they get like all mad at me. Like, bro, what do you want? Jesus, Lord, have mercy. Eat shit, you bajini. Get out of here. Oh, okay. I was like, why is it not doing anything? Meanwhile, I'm killing demons in Persona. Oh my goodness. Okay, what's Calamari Face saying? It seems you cannot be stopped by disease or hunger, and he sends you back from death stronger each time. Please know it was not my idea to cast out the Red Crown, the other bishops, my siblings. The blame lies with them. Please, I beg you, spare me. Kill Shamura, but do not send me to my death. Do not send me to him. You will not find my temple. I will be safe there. Yes, I will be safe. Fucking Paginis. Paginis, I'm gonna kill you. And you're gonna be happy about it, yeah? Give me grass. What the? How am I supposed to feed my followers if I don't have grass? Unbelievable. Are you guys enjoying Persona? Yoda tried to explain the story to me and I was well lost, well confused. Plimbo, want a closer look at the finest antiquities in the lands of the old faith, lamb? That's right, as long as me ships are floating, Plimbo's open for business. If this wets your whistle, come down to me. Sanctuary, plenty of fine, legally acquired goods. Haha. Yeah? Fucking Plimbo? Shit! Smuggler's Sanctuary? Damn! Okay, can I destroy your shit? Yeah, I can. Thank you. Wow. It's for me. I'll take that and go. Thanks. An avocado. We're here. So long, sucker. You prefer meat, but not human meat? Wow! Ah! Asshole! Anyway. Grass is more nutritious. I wonder. Because the cows eat the grass, yeah? So they got that nutrition in them as well. So technically, we all eat grass, yeah? Persona 5 so far? Pretty amazing, not gonna lie. I was lost in the first few hours. Okay. So polite, me? I'm the most polite, right? Cleansing fire. I think I like this one. Yeah. I keep forgetting to use this one. Even though this one's really good, actually. Shit. I just keep forgetting to use the ability. It's okay. I'm gonna go with this one, though, because then I can just pa the boss, you know? I don't know anything about Persona. I'm gonna say that now. And when Yoda tried to explain it to me, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because the story is, like, truly unbelievable. I was stunned, to say the least. Okay, let's go fight this dingleberry over here. Fuck you, beach! Stinky. Stinky pajinis. Get out of here. Stinky squid. Ow! Did he hurt me? I think he did. Maybe I could decorate the thing as well a little bit after I fight this guy. I don't know if I'll make it, but we'll see. Jesus! Do you wanna calm down? Ow! You bastard! Ow! Yeah, you see, this is why I didn't think I'd make it. I don't know this enemy, so this is a new kind of pain for me. What is this thing? Besides angry as hell. God damn, guy, you wanna fucking chill your titties? Oh, claws! It's the claw! Please and thank you. Love me some claw action. Boop. Gimme bones! Please and thank you. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Poisoning. Ooh! I love poison. I do kind of dig the hammer, but like being able to do that, it feels good, man. It feels good. Which way? Let's go look this way. Whoops! Wah! I have only one heart. I'm not gonna survive this, but it's okay. This is what you guys get for taking the special hearts away from me. What difficulty are you playing on? Probably Little Bitch. I don't know. How do you check? Oh. It's like, it's not on the easiest one, but it's on, like, I think the next one up. So, yeah, it's not hard. I'm just not used to this kind of game. You know me. I'm a Genshin player. Let's go see what this little home slice has got for me. No beaches? Yeah, how did I get hearts there? I'm so confused. No bitches! Oh man. Yoda's a big fan of Persona 4. Seek out enemies. Fierce projectile that has a chance to possess enemies on hit. You know, I kind of like this. Oh, they were in the chat. Oh, Kai just... Oh, now Yoda's having a moment over there because people keep dying. I kind of like this possess thing. But I know I like hounds as well. Oh, Juger is starving. Shit. Okay, I shouldn't take too long. Yeah, let's go with hounds. I quite like hounds. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. We go fight before all my people die. Wah! Oh, gee, I already scuffed it. Mate. Give me peace. Lucky! I don't know why that boss was so easy. That's kind of weird. But I'll take it. It's a victory. He didn't spawn nothing, so it's all good. We are A-okay. What's this? Collies! I'll take that. Woohoo, boons. Okay, let me go feed my peepos. According to Nine Jargon, that's all I stream. It is! Yoda! Don't lie. Do not. You played a lot of Persona 4 last year. Every time. Every time, Yoda. Anyone with Game Pass has no reason to not try Persona 5. But what if you've never played the other Personas, Ran? Is it still worth it? Because I don't know fuck all about Persona. All I know about Persona is what Yoda's told me. And what Yoda's told me is a little bit confusing, not gonna lie. Alright, let's pack these babies away. Because, yeah, there's a corpse there that's, like, mostly decomposed. Great. Let's go stick him in the ground. Oh! Vice is back. Where's Mau Mau? Mau Mau's not back? Did Mau Mau die? Oh, that was Yaku. Oh, yeah, Yaku actually died, like, in the beginning of the... Toto! Welcome back, Toto! Toileto-chan! Oh, Rebel Monkey's dissenting? We got starving people? Oh my god. There's all kinds of... Holy shit. Okay. This place is literally on fire. So let me, Let me make some food, because we got hungry babies. And we got mad babies. So we're gonna put you guys in the naughty corner, which... Oh, fuck, I burnt the one food. God damn it. I'm gonna put y'all in the naughty corner, where you belong. Ooh. What was that with? Oh, like... bunch of fish and stuff. I need to go fishing again, actually. Whoa. Okay, don't fuck us up. There's fancy food. Yeah, boy. Okay. We have a sicko. Who's a sick baby? Sick baby. You, please go. No, hold on. Actually, we're not bed rest, but... Do I summon you this way? Yeah, like this. Are you alive? You know what, Dan? You're actually not. And for some reason, there's two of you. So, we're not really sure what your actual status is. But we can go have a look. I don't know how there's two of you. Try it. Persona 5, it's worth it. Yeah? Each one has its own content. Ah, okay, so... Don't have to... I noticed that there's some characters that are like the same. Okay, we'll let the people sleep. But I know there's still hungry people as well. Also, if anybody wants to join, just shout. We do have space. We have peoples. Teenagers get supernatural powers, solve a mystery, and save the world. Yeah? I don't know, Yoda. What you were describing was pretty fucking confusing. So, Dan, you've got a body. Where were you? It's up here, right? Yeah, so you got a body up here. But then you've also got a body over here. And I'm just like... What? It's very confusing. I don't really know. Alright, where's that dissenter? Where's the Amgi? Who is Amgi? There we go! Rebel! You're busy eating my food, but you want to be literally rebelling. Huh? Could not think of a more appropriate name. Off to the naughty corner you go, cute monkey. Yeah, don't make that face at me. It's okay. I'll, re-educate you. And then you'll be good monkey. Yeah, the prison is giving you a hug, so I hope you're comfortable. Shout if you need anything. Nobody's listening, but you can shout. It is a fitting name. But it's also... Rebel's one of the sweetest people that I know. So it's also not really a fitting name, but yeah. At least in the game. Look at these happy babies. Everyone's fed. They're all feeling good. Let's, Oh, Demon Wolf's still feeling sick. That's fine. Oh, he just buffed. He's feeling better now. That's good. Let's, Where's Mao? Did I not send... Oh, he is back. Wait, who's this then? Oh, that's how I welcome them back? I've returned safe from my missionary! And I brought an offering! Nice! Thanks, Vice. Back in the day, it probably suited me more. Really? Rebel? No ways. Titi tatan. Everyone seems happy. Everything's fine. Can probably just make more money. Because I don't really need anything else. In fact, I don't think I even really need money at this point. Vice, you sleepy? Please go to sleep. Go do-doos. You sleepy. A sleepy pee-pee. Hey! Thank you! What are we gonna get? Thanks, DM. Whoa! Ah, thank you! Whoa! I forgot how much that gave. That was a lot of foods. Nice. I can make you guys some tasty foods. Oops. Give me free shit. Look at these good babies. This is why I don't really need to, like, get money or anything. Because, like, I just have so much shit. So I can basically just decorate. Which is what I should be doing now. Let's see. Because we have them new Halloweeny thingies. Someone paid me to draw you as an anime character? Wait, what? Eh? Who is someone? This is kind of cute. Nani? Where we gonna put Spooky Tree? I don't know. Trying to think, where do I want to decorate? And what other decorations do I have? I can make a cute little graveyard actually, because I have so many like graves, but it's not like kawaii. It's gonna take a while as it involves 6 streamers? What? That's insane. That's mad shit, yo. That's very cool though. Oh my god. That's very, very cool. But I want to know because I'm nosy. Oh, Mamao's back. Hi, Mama. Oh, Mamao's got bags under his eyes. I'm so sorry, Lita. I failed my mission. No, Mamao. Mamao died. Wait, what? What? He had a 94% chance to succeed. Mamao, I can't believe you done this. What? This grave is not working. Mama, what happened? Oh my god. Okay, hold on, wait. I'm like, my brain is in panic mode because I'm trying to like... Let's see if that fixes it now. It's fine. Mao will eventually be resurrected. There we go. Okay, it works now. Yeah, I have a pretty large amount of graves. I could make like a little... Yeah, I think I could make something... Oh, the shitters are full. Okay. Is it Jargon sick? Oh, hold on. We go this way. And then make a better. Don't be sick, Jargon. Be Gucci, fam. Be Gucci only. You're trying? a fucking mood. I want to know why there's a smell of sulfur in the air. And I didn't fart, so... And I don't think it's my dog either. Because I would have heard his fart. He's a very, very loud farter. I forgot about all of those seeds in there. Okay, cool. We have cauliflower seeds. Sheesh! Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of shit here. Okay, cool. That's all stinky? Yeah? Would it... I've never smelt it before here. The worst smell I've ever smelled, and I haven't smelt it, thankfully, in a very long time. I don't remember where we were traveling to, but I was going somewhere with my dad, and... we were going past like a paper mill or something, and whew, it was a bit spicy for the nostrils. Like the bad kind of spicy. I've heard that yeah, paper mills smell pretty bad, and also like dog food factories can smell pretty rank. I don't think I've been near one. Hey sausage! I got a pooch sitting here. He's not a fan of the rain, so he's kind of just like vibing out. What is this? Outhouse 2? Is this just upgrading the outhouse? It is! Oh, it costs gems though. We'll just have one then, for now. Those who particulated it. Do they say that, Brian? Worst smell you can smell, walk behind a KFC? Really? I don't make a habit of walking behind KFCs. I want to walk in front of the KFC where I can get the chicken, you know? Oh my god, that's so cute. Imagine pooping in such a cute toilet. That would spark joy. You'd feel very happy pooping there. Look, all my good babies. Blessed. Give me money. Thank you. I don't need it, but I got it now. Alright, focus for a second. We were looking at decorations, yeah, because I wanted to make like a cute little like, this will be cute, actually, the flower arch. I was gonna make it like spooky, but I'm like, no, wait, I have skulls with a flower on it, so I'm gonna make this shit kawaii. Kawaii, words. What was I saying? Vineyards are smelly too. With the wasted skins. Oh, ew! You forgot this game existed? did kind of disappear. Sorry, I was missing messages there. We were just in Suffolk, and I also go. You almost got washed away? Oh my goodness. Are you safe now, Ryan? Peanuts! Hello, Daniel. How you doing? Your dad got us lost in a mall once. We came through the alleyway behind a KFC. It was awful. Oh no! Yeah, that's the worst place. If you could be anywhere... Oh, I need to finish. There's one more thing I need in Anura. I need to go back there. If there's one place you want to be in a KFC, it's definitely at the front where you can get the food. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I definitely want the arch, yeah? Because oh. I hate the unevenness. There's literally no winning there. Alright, so we're gonna have a kawaii entrance. I'm thinking if I remove that one flower, I can put it there. So that's fine. And then, yeah. You haven't gone to a toilet till you experience the Japanese toilets? Like those ones in the ground? Or do you mean like the automated ones that like sing to you and shit? KFC makes you sick, it's too oily. Oh man, that's why I love KFC. When I'm sick, like when I'm ill, when I have like a cold or something, that's what I'll have. because of how oily it is, like it helps like my in a way, like it helps my throat, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's I have to move all these graves. Oh my goodness, what have I done? Love the zinger wings. Ooh, zinger wings and hey Poops. Hey Lily. Dunked wings. Oof. That's my shit, yo. But honestly, most things that I eat, most of the KFC stuff I'll eat. I'm a cheap date. Spa's Southern style hot wings. Have you guys tried Popeyes? If you don't like the oiliness of KFC, have you ever tried Popeyes? Popeyes is a fucking titties, man. Like, well and truly, the titties. I fucking love that shit. Popeyes is so good. The only thing is we don't have a Popeyes like near our house, which kind of sucks. So yeah, but we normally just go to the in-laws. We'll have Popeyes at them. The Pyrenees? Oh, I haven't had that. The chicken, man. And the Cajun fries, that's all I can focus on. I might leave that tree there to grow. Oh wait, my followers are probably gonna cut it down. You have a Popeyes literally 5 minutes from your house? We can't be friends anymore. A bit of chicken licken. Oh, okay, yeah, chicken licken's actually good as well. I used to eat a fair amount of chicken licken growing up. Because someone introduced me to their, like, I don't know what theirs is called, but like the spicy chicken, someone introduced me to that and I was like, fuck yes! Get in my belly! That shit was good, man. That make the hap, you know? What? Sometimes moving in this game is very very stressful, very confusing. Oh, I forgot. I don't even know who I'm moving around. I'm just moving people. Rip. Sorry, guys. I'm just scooching you all around. This is fine though. We'll see how many grave spots we have. Oh, it closed down? Oh man. Cupcake, when are you inviting us all over for Popeyes? Nando's Peri Peri? Okay, actually, Nando's chicken's fucking good. That's like our, if we want to eat something a little bit healthier than KFC. It's just a lot more expensive than KFC. Okay, this thunder, this big booms. Mapuche is not happy. Hi, Lulu. Oh, he looks so upset. He looks so sad. Hey, baby bear. Hey, why don't you come lay closer to me? Come here. You're just gonna be a sad boy. Not even barking at mom today. We're just staring sadly in her direction. Huh? What is the time? Oh shit. I should have ended stream. Yeah, I think this is fine. Like so. And then we'll just extend it to the other way. Actually, I might just move it over. Yeah, like so. In December when I'm home alone, we're gonna have a Popeyes house party. we pitch, we eat the chicken, and then we leave. We are there for the chicken and the chicken alone. I actually want to make like a little section just for the jargons, because I have 4 of them. I'm collecting jargons. Just got a jargon shrine from all the dead jargons. Now does have a Caribbean wrap. Ooh! Ah! Thank you, Mombas! Thank you for the head pats. How you doing? Not even there for llama? No, but I'll be there for the cupcake. Can make it a streamer party. For, just very simply just for the chicken. Everyone should have a jog and shrine. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go find your bodies though. So I'm gonna have to find out like which graves are yours. I think I'm gonna make like so. And then like so. And then like so. And so. Cool. I think I'm okay with this layout. I just need to go fetch that last one. I'm doing good. Well, I'm doing okay. I could be doing better, but I'm okay. Oh wait, I have... someone needs to die. I have an uneven amount of graves. Who's gonna be the sacrifice? Alright, I wanna fucking fill this place with... Woo! That's gonna be a big boom, maybe. I'm gonna have to... maybe skedoodle soon, because my Pochi is not happy. He's a bit of a chicky baby, because in his old age he's just decided he's not a fan of thunderstorms. He never used to have an issue with them. Thank you for the hugs, Mumbas. Am I invited to this shindig? Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you be invited? Ah! Joggin! What the heck, man? Joggin! A 12-month of tier 1 to Moomba's. Thank you. That means Moomba has an entire year of Tato. I'm sorry to hear that, Moomba's. Oh, these skulls are so cute! Oh my god, I love them. I just hate that I can't actually put them like in front of the graves because it's like diagonal. Thank you, friend. I'm gonna just put them at the back actually. Yeah, because that's cute as hell, man. I love that. Okay. Let's see, what else can we put? Do we have another candle? Do we have like a cute candle? We got mushy candles. Yeah, let's go mushy candles. Yeah, we can put candles here. And then I want to put candles here and here. And then we can put maybe at the ends. Also, if I missed anyone's messages, it's nothing personal. I'm just very easily distracted and my eyeballs no worky. You know how it is. Let's see if we can go find the joggins. Fucking chaos, mate. There's my son, her son. There's Tank. Where all the fucking joggins at? 1, 2. Okay, so there's 2 here. And then... Wait, I'm missing a joggin. Oh wait, there's 1 joggin that's alive. Okay, we're fine. You've been told you're from another planet? By whom? Oh no! What did I do? I cancelled the thing. Shitty titties. This is okay. I do need to... I should have finished streaming like 15 minutes ago, but it's okay. I love these little skulls with the flowers. They are so cute. Oh wait, do you get faith from building stuff? I thought you had to help a follower. Yoda Max G has reached old age. Respect your elders traits. I can't remember what the trait does, but... Oops, that's not what I wanted. would be funny if Jargon grieved at his own grave, you know? Look at these little busy bees all building away. Oh yeah, let's go smack that that rebel. For being a rebel, for being a naughty. Let's go boop her. Boop her on the head. Just be like, hey! Be nice! Be nice, rebel. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Whenever Ray hears that song, he's like, don't eat the fishes. And I'm like, why not? I love fish. Why would I not eat the fishes? You know? Let's see. We're gonna make a really badass little, like, thing for Jargon. What is this one? Leafy flower sculpture? He's right? What do you mean? Oh, sorry for bonking you, rebel. Sorry. I don't want to be that person, but you kind of asked for it by misbehaving. Jargon's gonna have, like... We got this, like, kawaii little, like, flowers and shit. Jargon's gonna have, like, a hamguri one over here. Let's see. Maybe I can move this bad boy. Because this one's kind of a... This is kind of like a random one. I don't know what to do with this one. I can put it here, I guess. That's fine. And then let me go cut some trees. Dig up. Okay, that's kind of cute. Man, these little trees are kind of annoying. But I guess you are supposed to let them grow, so fair enough. Yeah, I kind of forgot about this game for a little while, but I kept thinking about it every now and then because I was like, oh yeah, I haven't finished this game. And I watched a friend of mine, Kota, finish it. So like, I don't know if I'd be able to. It looks hard, hey? Ah! Yes, Dragon? Let's see. Yeah, like so. I love that. Oh, Jargon, did I tell you? Ah, thank you, Daddy. Did I tell you that I found... Hello, motherfucker. I found, What's poppin'? Don't mind me, just watching. Thank you, Daddy. Okay, so there's Jargonian, Jargonauts, Darteto Potato. We're gonna make a little, Jargon-only grave. Let's see. Yeah. GG's, Hassan. I feel like I was saying something and I've forgotten what it was. It's lost to the abyss. What did you find? Not my fucking marbles, mate. They're gone. Well gone. Proper gone. Lost to the abyss. God alone knows at this point. I don't even know what this upgrade does. I just put it on. I was like, oh yeah, why not? This is okay. This is fine. Oh my goodness, this construction taking forever. Does it generate... Oh, it generates like faith or something? Man, the overlap for these buildings was kind of weird. Because there's the scarecrow. The scarecrow's got a massive one. And then this windmill's got a smaller one. And then the hut has got an even smaller one. But like they all sit weirdly. So like trying to find like the overlap between all three buildings was kind of a pain in my assholes, you know? In all of them. All of the assholes I have, so... Okay, so it was mid and then the two sides. Jargon is mid. Dalek and Jargon. I have a deal for you two. Ooh! Are y'all gonna be playing something? What a... No deal, just build ammo. Wait, what? Amber is the only reason he would call both of us. Regarding Amber. There we go. Jargon new. Jargon new. Alright, I'm gonna build a new one. I reckon I'll build a new one. A new hall. But this hall is only for Jargon. If he dies again, he goes into the hole. Yeah? The hole. The holiest of holes. Thank you, Dean! Thank you for the contributions. Alright, let's see. We're gonna have some spooky, spooky candles. And then... Why is it so easy to decorate a grave with, like bones, but, like... doing it with the flowers was so difficult. God damn it. It's almost like bones have something to do with bodies and death. These walls don't actually do anything. Ah, shitty titties. Well, you know what, this is fine. Do you guys want to scoot your asses out of the fucking way, mates? Get out of here. Piss off. Ah, darkness. Gonna actually have a hernia over here. There we go. There's our little jargon altar. What's the deal? Yeah, what's the deal? What's going on here? I need to know. Oh wait, I need to... Oh wait, there's a way to cancel the build, right? Like that. Yeah. Cool. I need to revise my flower garden. Oh, actually, hold on. Yeah, because Jargon gets the... graveyard, but everyone else gets the pretty flowers. Sorry, Jargon. It just be like that, you know? What does it look like if I feel like they fine-tuned the game since I last played. Feels different. It's a little bit hard to see. Mama E, thank you for the follow. Oh, not for the follow. For the lurk, sorry. My brain just didn't work there. Wait, you can speed up time? I'm currently speeding up time. My mind is oh no, Hydra Boy! No! Ah! Yoda, do not perceive him. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is actually looking kind of cute. I just need to finalize some of the things and clean it up a bit. Get more flowers in here. Am I still dead? Probably, Hassan. This casual corpse laying in the middle of my graveyard here. They're all grieving. They're all grieving at the Jargon Shrine. This is Jargon's spot. I don't know why that sparks joy, but it does. Very silly of me to do that. I can't believe you've done this. I didn't do anything, Hassan. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything. Alright, so... I guess I could space these guys out a little bit better now. Yeah, and I can move these candles. Oh, I actually really like that. Those candles look cute as hell, man. Yeah, let's put them like so. And we can build some more. And we got our cute little pumpkins to protect the flower garden. And then, yeah, we will make a hole for this buddy over here. And then we'll... I think to upgrade it, I first need to build it, yeah. What is Demon Wolf doing? You're gonna use your AC on hot? Your fingers are freezing? Oh my goodness. Son. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, let's upgrade Joggins as well. Oh wait, I need to cook food as well. Let me just go do that quick. For these people starving. What is this one? Deadly dish? Okay, let's not do that. 20% chance of increasing follower loyalty. I don't think we really need that, but I want something tasty. Oh yeah, this is a good one actually. This is what uses all the meat. That's why I keep sending people out on missions to get meat, because this meat dish is not bad to make. Not for the peoples. Hungry peoples can eat the meat. Enjoy, babies. Enjoy, enjoy. Did I go bonk ribs on the head today? No, I did, okay. She only gets a 1 bonk a day. I think this looks spoopy enough. Do you like your little graveyard, Jargon? I just need to make my pretty flower garden. Let's see. It looks amazing. It's very metal of you. The jargon graveyard. 10 out of 10. Don't want to be buried there, but it's still pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna have the flower flooring in here. Because this is my little flower garden. Oh wait, I can make like so, yeah? Keep forgetting about that. I don't know if I want to have the flowering under the graves as well. I kind of like the little like dirt patch that it makes. Yeah. We'll have the little dirt patch, that's okay. Why is it... It's off center? I'm gonna go cry now, I'll be right back. Hello? What did I do wrong? I think I'll just move these candles. Do I need to move it like there? Oh yeah, to be centered. That's fine, we can just make like so. And then like so. And then this one... Aha! Kawaii! It looks a little bit funny when you rotate things sometimes. Actually... is there something special I can put in the middle there? Oh, this is kind of cute though. What is this bad boy? Oh wait, this is cute. A weeping shrine? Oh my god. Yes, okay, so I just need to move those 2 graves out of the way. Because I think this would be very cute actually. Cool. Is there anything else I can build before I Oh my god, this is so cute. Hi, Marco! Thank you for swinging by and thanking Llama Llama. I don't know if Llama Llama is here, but much appreciated. How you doing? I hope you're having a good day and or evening, wherever you are in the world. I needed to move those graves, yeah? Let's scoosh them on over. We can scoosh them to the bottom. Oh, and then it works, actually. I really should raise more people. I'm just collecting corpses at this point. Yeah, thank you.
Excuse me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the follow, Martha. Welcome to the posse. Yeah, it's oh, it's currently 11 o'clock. I need to go. But I'm having a good evening. I'm just decorating my little cult over here. There's some cute new Halloween decorations. I'm in love with this blood moon skull. It is so cute. I just want to use it everywhere. As you can see, I am in fact using it everywhere. So why the change in Vitato? I just felt like trying something new, Yoda. And Kai also uses like lots of different models, so I thought it might be nice to try something different. Take care, Brainman. Sweet dreams. I know I need to head off as well, but I'm having too much fun. Making my shit look cute as hell. Yeah, so... Oh, the flock is ready. Yeah, Azzy actually sent this, this program that I'm using. She sent it to me. It's in alpha, they're still testing, but like, honestly, it was very cute, very easy to use, so I just wanted to try something else. If you wanna try it as well, Yoda, just DM me on Twitter so I can send it to you. I'm almost done. I just want to finish the... I think I'm gonna make like so. Like so. And then like so. Okay, I already did that one. And then there. Yeah, and then I wanna remove there and remove there. Yeah. Oh, bless. This is very like serene. And then we've got Jargon's metal as fuck graveyard. Oh, I could have given him lava. I'm gonna give him lava flooring actually. Jargon, you got lava flooring, buddy. I hope that's okay. I hope this is Gucci with you, fam. So anyone who comes to grieve will have to burn their tootsies. So choose your grieving wisely. Do you want to walk in a pretty garden, or do you want to have your toes burnt off? That is metal as fuck. Oh. There we go. Wait, why does that look wrong? Actually, I'm just gonna leave it like that. That's fine. That's fine. Favoritism? No, it's because I've got 4 of him. I've got 4 different Yodas. I got 2 different Yodas. I got Jartato Potato, Jargonaut, Jargonian, and this one belongs to Jargon. He's not currently dead though, so... Yeah. He's currently alive. But all my other peepos, all my other babies, they get a pretty flower garden. Oh, I need to move that flower. Let me move that quick. They get a pretty garden where they can spend their final days. Where can I put this? Yeah, that's okay. I want to put more flowers though. It needs more. Oh, that's kind of cute. Yes. This one. And this one. Okay, I'm almost done. I need to go to bed. But I want to put up pretty flowers. I should have put this one in Jargons. I still can, I guess. I'll put one here and one here. Ah, 99th Rebel. Yeah, it is definitely bedtime. I'm gonna be feeling this tomorrow. Ah, we'll put just a watering can and then we done those, yeah? Alright, now we're gonna zoop up the time, because that's a thing we can do apparently. 99th to all my peoples. Sweetest dreams for everybody. Oh wait, actually now that I think about it, I can go give Rebel her final bonk. Are you gonna be good, Rebel? Oh, not yet? No ways. Uh-oh. Thank you, Dan. Alright. Yeah, I think we're good. No. Oh, I messed up the floor over here. God damn it. Okay, let me just fix that and then we'll be done, yeah? This is the last thing, I promise, I promise. And then I need to go find a raid victim. A people to go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Alright, there we go. We got all the Halloween stuff pretty quickly, and I'm pretty happy with the little graves that I made there. Y'all got some cute-ass places to be dead. You lucky fish. Imagine being alive in this world. Kinda sucks, I guess. Alright, so... I said, oh, the music's not gonna play? We're just gonna sit here in silence. Let me just pop on a quick Genshin background noise. Just so we have something playing. Let's see, this one. Alright, who is streaming? Who is live? Oh, a lot of people actually. Let me just see. Do I have anybody I can revengey? Because y'all know I'm all about them revengey raids. Let's see. Who do I need to pay back? Oh, I found one! Ooh! I found one! Okay, I know where we're going. Easy. Easy. Cool. And? Yeah, okay, cool. Let me set that up. Let me set up the raid. Alright, thank you, peoples. Yeah, it was actually, it was a shorter stream. Not by much, because I stayed up later than I should have. But, yeah, it was nice testing out the new model and, being able to stream for a little bit. I don't know what's happening for the rest of the week. It really depends on load shedding. You know how it is for my South African peoples. You know the pain. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. We will be live tomorrow. Come hell or high water. I will be live tomorrow. I will be getting Nahida. Yeah? You take care, Daddy. You take care. And rest well when you do. Because I think it's daytime for you still. But yeah. Take care, everybody. Whoa! I just fell over there, sorry. Yeah, take care, everybody. We're gonna go send our love to Mama Eve. She is currently playing Fortnite, and lightsabers are back. So, whatever that means. There's an event, maybe? Alright. Yeah, take care, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Let's go, throw all of our love into Mama Eve's chat. And behave yourselves, please. Be nice. We love Mama Eve. So be nice. Yeah. That's all. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.